Most men don't need more motivation, they need more discipline, and they need more pressure. That's what the warrior's mentality is all about. It's about helping men develop the warrior's mindset, which is built around bravery, which is built around courage, which is built around discipline. It's helping men to realize and understand their true identity. And when I say identity, I do mean the identity of being a son of the living God, because I believe that you can't be a man of God unless you first a son of God. And then a priest of your home, of your family, a protector of your home, of your family, your children, a provider, someone who doesn't just think of provision as financial, but looks at it in a much deeper sense. But financial is another major key. And then also a fighter, not someone who just steps into a ring and does or is trying to go professional when it comes to boxing or MMA or something like that, but someone who is willing to fight for their family's safety at all times, no matter what. Someone who's ready and able to fight for their own mental well-being, who's ready to fight for their own health and wellness so that they can be the best version of themselves for their families. That's what we're all about here at the Warriors Mentality. There's a deep reason why I care about this topic. I spent many years struggling with mental health issues. I was just recently diagnosed as bipolar, and I didn't even know it. I think in 2024, in January sometime, I was diagnosed with anxiety, generalized anxiety, PTSD, and I think like a mood disorder or something like that. And everything was just happening so fast. I had no actual discipline in my life. Like bedtime, was not even in existence. Like I just stayed up late some nights. Some nights I didn't sleep because I was also manic. I had bipolar. I would have mania symptoms happening. I didn't know what was going on. But I lacked discipline in a lot of different areas in my life. As time went on, later that year, I found myself in a psych ward twice. Once I had a psychotic break, and then the second time I had a full-blown manic episode where I basically just couldn't stop moving. I was shaking and jittering. I was they call it racing thoughts, where I was just talking really fast. And all over the place. But beforehand, I was just going through some things of rapid cycling. I started 3 businesses. I wrote 2 books. I started a garden in November or something like that of 2023. In December, I was really just off the wall, and I didn't know why it was getting worse. And so the Warriors Mentality is really special for me, because again, I was undisciplined in so many different areas, and there were so many internal pressures that I just hadn't dealt with. There were so many pains and traumas that I avoided, things that I had never spoken of until later in my life. And as I go on, you'll hear more and more of my story, but there are so many different things that I just did not deal with. And over the last year or so, I have kind of made a complete shift in my mindset, my thinking, my lifestyle, my disciplines. Now I'm in bed early every day. I go to bed. I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, 9 hours on a good day. Not just that, I eat healthy. I have a really solid diet. I eat the same thing just about every day, but I have a really solid locked-in diet. And I also train hard. I train like an athlete. Well, and that's because I am. So I train and I compete in Taekwondo, and I am shifting over and I'm getting ready for some semi-amateur Muay Thai fighting, which I'm hoping that transfers into full-blown amateur and then hopefully professional Muay Thai fighting. But that training taught me a few things. It taught me how to think under stress when the pressure of life hits, and what I'm doing and how I'm going to react. It's taught me how to really respond well. It also taught me how to breathe in the midst of chaos, when you're sparring, especially when you're doing hard sparring, somebody's hitting you hard and you have to kind of keep your guards up. You have to block, you have to check kicks, and you have to do all these different things of that nature. You have to actually be thinking. You can't just think and hope that it all goes away. You have to breathe. You have to allow your body, your nervous system to stay calm. And then also you have to decide when it's uncomfortable. What is uncomfortable? What is too much of comfortability, I would say. Because what happens is in sparring, it's very uncomfortable. Fighting is very uncomfortable. And again, if somebody's punching at you, you have to get back in it. You have to punch back. And it's not comfortable. And life is the same way. Life is going to punch back. Life is going to be hard. And you're going to have to choose that it's not going to be this way. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you have to choose to go through the pressure, to fight through it every single day. In Muay Thai, what it did was it exposed the parts of me that comfort could never reach. I could not stay comfortable. And the more I wanted to stay comfortable, the more I stayed undisciplined, the more my mental health failed. And now that I'm in a space now where comfort, I don't allow comfort to exist, I'm growing so much more, whether that's through waking up early, whether that's my training in the morning, whether that's being strict with my diet so that I can stay around fight weight and keep on fighting and keep on pressing, whether that's taking a cold shower or ice bath, and whatever it may be. I've learned to live my life in such a way where comfort does not exist. And as a man, that's what all of us need to be. Now, I believe in a few things. I believe that all men should train some type of combat sports. That should be, you should know how to use your hands. So that's, for me, I say the top 3 on my list is either jiu-jitsu or boxing. Jiu-jitsu or wrestling. I say you should know how to use your hands, boxing, and then Muay Thai or something like that. Even though I train Taekwondo, I don't think every man should learn that because it doesn't always translate into real life. But those are my top 3 that I say that you should definitely jump into. So some hand-to-hand combat. You should also know how to use a knife. Like you should have one. I keep a knife on me all the time, but you should always be prepared if something happens in that regard. And then also you should be trained and equipped with using a gun or a weapon like that. Something like that should be in your house. You never know. Somebody can break into your house and you might have to go and check out what's happening. And you want to maybe have a shotgun someplace in the house where your wife can go. If you're married, your wife and your spouse, whatever, can go grab your kids and take them to a safe space and post up and locked up. Like I think that you should be prepared for whatever comes your way. And so for me, what I learned is that the way I train now is that I train in such a way to develop a fighter's body. A fighter's body develops a fighter's mind because fighters, they fight and they train under pressure completely. Their heart rate is high. They have to learn how to keep going and to break their thresholds. They have to learn how to continue on when they're tired or fatigued and their muscles are sore. They have to learn how to keep their arms high when they start to get tired. Because one thing my coach always says, like, keep your hands up here so that when you get tired, they're at least here, right? Because if you start here, then they drop here. But you have to, press through so many different areas. And your excuses, they also get exposed with this type of training. You can make all kinds of excuses in the world, but when you step into a Muay Thai gym or a boxing gym or something like that, when you start to train this way, excuses go out the window. You can say, I can't all you want, but if you have accountability, somebody right next to you pushing you forward, then that changes. It's more like, I got to get this done. I got to keep working. I got to keep pressing. That's why men, we need community. We need to be around each other and we need to be training with each other and we need to be pushing each other towards greatness. And most men avoid these states. They avoid being in hard states. They avoid hard things, whether that's running, whether that's sprinting, whether that's lifting in an athletic way. Whatever it may be, a lot of men just avoid these spaces. And so let me just be clear about something. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your nervous system. So you can set a goal that is super high. You can say, man, I want to get to a point where I'm making $10K a month. But if your nervous system doesn't allow that, you won't get there. And what I mean is that when you see failure after failure after failure happen, you're not going to have the drive to keep pushing. That's going to be a problem. But if the way your mindset is shifted to where you're like, man, I'm going to press through no matter what, then you're going to rise. Then you're going to press forward. Then you're going to keep moving in such a direction to where you learn how to put that work in. And so we got to keep that in mindset. When you train like a fighter, it helps you to not fold in real life. So this type of training, I believe firmly that it translates to every other area in your life. It's going to translate into your marriage if you are married. It's going to translate into your relationship if you're courting somebody or, in a relationship with somebody. It's going to translate into your business. It's going to translate into your parenting. It's going to shift into your leadership practices as well. All of those come with great deals of pressure. And each pressure, you're going to have to learn how to continue to fight through all of them. If you're leading a team at your workplace like that, of course, you're going to have hard to deal with situations. And so you need to be able to continue to fight even when the hardships come. If you're married, the same thing. If you're going through a hard patch in your marriage, you're going to need to learn how to fight through that, to continue to fight for your family and not be so quick to give up. We live in this current climate where everybody is like so quick to get a divorce and quick to give up on their marriage. But it's hard to be in that mindset, or we shouldn't be in that mindset, because we as men, we should be in a place where we're ready to fight for our marriages and for our families and things of that nature. And of course it's hard. Like if you have somebody who doesn't want to fight with you, you can't force that upon them. But as a man, I believe that we should be in that position to where we are ready and prepared to fight. And so training like a fighter, it just helps you to not fold in real life. Like when emotions gets high and they spike, fighters have to regulate. When you get hit hard, you have to regulate quick and kind of like bounce back, because a lot of people talk about how like when they get upset they see red and they spaz out on fighting. If somebody says that, they probably can't fight, because a real fighter knows like, you're gonna get hard and you gotta kind of like bounce back, breathe, go back to that breathing. You gotta recalibrate really quickly so that you can kind of like get back into the game really quick. Last thing is this. Let me just say this. You don't need the ring. You don't need to say, I want to go and try to be a professional fighter. I said this a little bit earlier. You don't need a ring. You need resistance. And what I mean is that you need to put yourself in a position where you are exerting force and energy and putting stress on your body. And so that can look a lot of different ways. This is why I say you should get into some type of combat sport, but like through striking, when you hit the punching bag, the punching bag, heavy bag, whatever it may be, learning how to hit that, that's really good. Jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and grappling and things of that nature are really good. Also, you can do some sleds. Push your body, put some weight on the sled, push it, push your body, your breath is going to get up, your legs, your quads, all that is going to burn. It's going to be a good weight. Lift weights and get stronger. Like eat good, lift heavy weights, pick up some heavy stuff as a man, stop being weak. Lift and carry some heavy things. Go for a run, even if it's cold outside. Put some sweats on, go for runs, and sprint. You're a man. Stop, getting to this space where you're just comfortable with being out of shape and barely able to keep up with your children and barely able to walk upstairs without huffing and puffing and all that good stuff. So you definitely want to be in a position where you learn how to breathe under control or breathe control your breathing under fatigue, things of that nature. The goal isn't violence. The goal is voluntary hardship. Putting yourself in hard situations help you in life to continue to press forward. And as men, that is the mindset we have to be in. Not only that, our mindset has to be of the mindset of a protector. Yes, provider as well, but right now I'm locking in on why every single man, I believe, should learn how to fight in some way and have some type of combat training skills or whatever it may be. But that protector mindset, protectors must think clearly under pressure. You have to control your impulses. You have to endure fatigue without quitting. You have to endure fatigue without quitting. That is one of the greatest things that I've been learning as I've been training in Muay Thai. We do sometimes, so there's one gym I go to on some Saturdays, and we do 30 rounds of sparring. And it's about 2 minutes per round, 30 seconds of rest. And, it definitely gets hard, and you are fatigued come 15 rounds. And, you are trying to just get through. And then you hit 20, you're like, okay, I got 10 more to go. You hit 25, and you're like, I got 5 more. But you're fatigued the entire way, and you got to try to keep on pushing through no matter what. So when the round is over, you drop to your knees, you take your deep breaths. And then, you hope nobody makes eye contact, but you look up and you see somebody looking right at you, and they're like, let's get it. You got to stand up, and you got to keep on pressing through. And that's how life is. And that's what a protector is. A protector who can't regulate himself is dangerous, not strong. And so let's really just nip that in the bud. Like, if you are a protector, you have to be able to regulate yourself. Because again, if somebody walks up to your car and they have a gun or a knife, or let's say just a gun, and you have your children in the back, regulation and being smart about that situation would be like just to give them whatever they want. Keep watching that other person's body language, because they might just be itching to do something. But what you don't want is to start a fight and start a tussle, and then that gun goes off, and a bullet hits one of your children, or the gun goes off and it's really loud and it's too close to your kids and it blows one of their ears out. You got to be regulated so that you can think clearly, so that you can think straight, so that you can make wise decisions. And that's what we got to think about and do in life. Again, that's what we're all about here. The Warriors mentality is about building men who can stand in pressure without collapsing. That is the heartbeat of what we are doing here, of what the community I'm building here. It's not just about being in the gym. It's in marriage, it's in leadership, it's in life, in parenthood. We are building warriors, because it is warriors who are going to help rebuild our nation. As you might not know this, but we are at war right now. It's a spiritual war. It's a physical war. We have to go to war as men for our children, for our families. It is us who have to be at the front line. It is not our wives. It is not the women who are in our lives. It is us. It is men. And we have to take back up that mantle and be real men. We have to walk in our true calling of masculinity, and we have to remove ourselves from this hyper feminine worldview that we are currently living and start to operate in true masculinity, because true masculinity is healthy. It is not toxic in any way. You don't have to put healthy in front of masculinity. You just have to walk in that, because true masculinity makes people feel safe. Because true masculinity is also violent, and that violence is under control, and that controlled violence is what makes our families feel safe. Think about that. If you are a man over 30, or if you are a man and you are built for more than just comfort, you are in the right place. So make sure that you subscribe. This channel is all about building fight-ready men who are ready for real life. Until next time, grace and peace.